Morena tātou, welcome councillors and staff. I would like to begin with the opening karakia, which is Ngāti Whakapono, Ngāti Tuamanako, Ngāti Tatiro, Ngāti Whakarongo, Ngāti Mahitahi, Ngāti Te Araha, Ka Te E Tātou, which is by believing and trusting, by having faith and hope, by looking and searching, by listening and hearing, by working and striving together, by all being done with compassion, we will succeed. Now, Councillor Jeffries, could I please have some words of wisdom?
Thank you, Worship. It's actually a couple of quick ones, but one of the first one is actually sort of almost follows on from the karakia. We need to accept that we won't always make the right decisions, that we will screw up royally sometimes, understanding that failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of success. Yep. And Nelson Mandela said, what counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor. We have an apology from Councillor Willison this morning. I haven't heard anything from Councillor Tamaki at this stage, so I'll move on. Can the apology of Councillor Willison be accepted, please? Move to Councillor Thompson, second to Councillor Prendergast. Carried, thank you. Peter, I hear that you wish to say a few words in the public forum. Floor's all yours. Yeah, you do. Sit down and push the right-hand button. Official. Thank you.
We're live streaming.
Yeah.
Live
Wonderful.
streaming.
Thank you, Your Worship, the Mayor, Executive and fellow councillors. My name is Peter Martin. I am the promoter of the Silver Fern Rally, the Targa Rally and Epic Tours under our URG group. We have applied for council for road closures within your district to run our Targa New Zealand event, which is the 29th running of our event since inception in 1995. And I'm here today basically just to answer any concerns or questions from the council forum. We have had earlier meetings just in pre-application of road closures, and that process is happening now. But we were really wanting to try and engage a bit more with the township and the wider community around this event. So that's really why I'm here, just in case you have any queries or questions, you can hear it directly from me rather than second or third hand. Peter, any questions of Peter before he departs?
Can we be in relation to what's in the report? Yeah. Hi, Peter. I'm just wondering, in the report it says that you're working with the following groups in town. I always do some due diligence. The kindergarten and hopscotch, they've heard nothing, and they're listed as groups. I haven't contacted all the groups. I just picked two, and they haven't heard from you. So it's saying that you're working with these groups. So I'm just a little bit miffed.
Okay, well, look, the list that was provided for the council was from both Lisa and Keith, who are my staff within the office. And those will be the initial contacts that are made out. Subsequent to the meeting that I had with Roy and others, we've talked around how to run the event within town. I've met with the local rugby club, and we've actually secured the facilities over there to ensure that if we can't get the road closure in town to actually hold the event in the middle of town and disrupt those businesses, because last thing we want to do is actually disrupt them, then we needed a backup plan. So there's a massive email that's gone out to a variety of groups, which is in that very early list that was provided for. Subsequent to that, now we've had nearly all of the facilities or the opportunities for fundraising fulfilled. So I can give you an updated report now of the exact community groups with which we've engaged and committed to. But as I say, when that was requested, it was at the very early stages of here's all the list of people that we've been out to. So the initial process was email and then followed up from there. So they are now locked and loaded.
Thank you.
Councillor Johnson.
Yeah, just Peter, I was just wondering, the meeting we had earlier, you had the idea for using Ōtorohanga Street as a pick area. have you gone, has it got too late for that, or have you had other ideas, or will you save that for another year, or can you just elaborate on that, please?
Absolutely. So and the conversation they had initially when we first met was what we've been seeing in the last few years of our events is that we're very transient and we come in and we go. And so we've been trying to regionalise it. And part of that regionalisation gives us a better opportunity to engage across the community. Double running some of the stages gives us opportunity to put spectator points in place and opportunity for people to see the flow of the cars twice rather than just a single time. So the thought was how do we actually bring the show on the documentation day into town? And obviously where we've previously participated and closed that bit of road, there's businesses there. We haven't been in touch with them yet. What we did is we've backed up with making sure that we have a venue facility in case this doesn't work. So our program now is to engage with them and see if there is an appetite, and if this council has an appetite for us to be sort of semi-disruptive, but in a nice way. If that's too hard, then we've got alternatives. So the process really now is to see if that is a plausible option and what the appetite is around the table to proceed with that. So that process doesn't take long. It's just we need to get onto that once you've told us which direction you'd like us to go. Thanks, Peter. Councillor Prendergast.
Through you, Worship. Good morning, Peter. Thank you for coming along. I'm the elected member for the Ōtorohanga board, so we have both Roma and Arahina. We've got lots of stages through, which is great. We enjoy it and look forward to the fundraising opportunities that come with it. My question is really around if there was need for a resident to have an ambulance or something, how well, could you just talk me through the process, I guess, and how well worked is that machine?
Absolutely. Okay, so the question was really care for residents upon the need of medical services. So the process with which we run our events is we have an advanced paramedic at the start of every single stage, which is sitting in what we call a first intervention vehicle with fire suppression and recovery as well. So whilst the road is closed, the first port of call, if there is a need for a resident to render or need assistance, and I can tell you statistically, 97.3% of the medical interventions during the course of our event go to non-motorsport related activity. So anaphylactic shocks to bees, broken legs from trampolines, fallen off a horse, swallowed a tongue, strokes, heart attacks. So the actual community is better served while the road is closed, because part of our process with ensuring protection of our customers is to have a speedy response upon a situation which is likely to be traumatic. So we've got to adhere to morality in terms of making sure we've got services available. And of course, that is extended to residents. So a lot of that is explained in the second letter process. We haven't actually started the community engagement. So when we go now out to all of the people affected by the road closures, they'll get a knock on the door and a letter that states all the processes. Upon approval from council, a second letter has gone out, which will then be anywhere between 7 and 21 days prior to the event, when the signs are erected regarding the road to be closed, and all of that information relating to the 0800 services and our community network of shortwave radio, and every single vehicle and every official vehicle in our event is GPS tracked. So we know where every single vehicle is at all times, including our officials. So if we need to stop a stage for any reason to render assistance, we can do that within 3 or 4 minutes, communicating with every person. It's very well oiled.
That's great and very useful to know. I would just draw your attention to the fact that cell phone coverage is not reliable. In fact, it's not as reliable as it used to be.
Yeah, 100%. We use satellite phones, and we have our own network through Fleetlink, or was Fleetlink. It's now called Vital, the Vital network. So all of our communications done through that. And then, as I say, our GPS tracking units through Rally Safe within each car have communication from our clerk of the course directly to us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Partly answered the question that I'm a landowner. on a stage end, the Tiratea Road, as I see it's going north this time, usually it goes south through our way. And yeah, so in that comms are the landowners that have got stage ends where there's not much room, and I'm sort of not sure how many vehicles will be there to do that timing of the finish stage. And the other consideration too for the business owners in the area are milk tankers, and
Yep.
like, does that become a landowner, like the business owner's responsibility to deal with Fonterra and Simlay or whoever else is?
No, so in terms of our communication to the wider communities that use the road, the transient movement of the vehicles up the road, which is like the Frontiers, the AI technicians, Sinlay, all of the various milk tankers. The responsibility for the landowner is more the contractor that you bring in that we don't know about, whether it's Brown's fencing or whomever. That's in the letter. It's your responsibility to communicate with them, say, hey, the road's closed on this date. We don't want you coming in to fix a fence or whatever. That sort of flows on to part of our event. If we do have an incident where we've broken a fence, the competitor's gone off the road and broken a fence, then we have engaged various fences. Traditionally, historically, we have a fencing contractor that's travelled the whole event, but we've changed that now to finding various community services because they are familiar with your area, and you probably know Wayne Brown Fencing because he's the local contractor. That we guarantee to get the fence stock proof on the day, and within the week you try and have it fully repaired. So subject to the style of fence, some have got concrete, some have got posts, some are square, some stones. So yeah, the responsibility relating to the wider general uses, the swap trucks that for feed and quarry activity, we've got direct relationships with all of the bigger users, Royal Post, etc. So it's just your smaller private contractors that you have also.
Right, so our constituents who ask about what about my milk tanker, I can say to them that's what.
Yep.
all in
So
there.
generally Frontier are really good. We're just working through with Simlay, obviously being a little bit newer, but we've been dealing with them for 30 years or thereabouts. And they get a map of all of the roads that are closed once it's been approved, and they'll reroute their tanker collections to be outside the road closure times.
And as a matter of interest for like a stage end,
Yes.
do you generally get more traffic, or is it just a matter of it's electronic timing and there shouldn't be an accumulation of vehicles at that stage?
So a stage end versus a stage start. For general knowledge, we apply for a road closure that's this long, say it's this bit of road. And let's say we start here. So where the road closure comes into effect, about 600 to 700 meters inside the road closure is where we have our what's called our time control. So our traffic comes into there. This is where they would generally collate because every single car is leaving on a minute interval. But the time between A to A timing for technology, if people really want to understand this, they've got an allocated time to get from this point to that point over there, which is a special stage plus touring. So they may arrive here on site early before their due report time to check in. And that's why we have about 700 or 800 meters inside the road closure where we're managing those people. Okay, nothing to do with traffic management outside. That's all done. Then they come, then they start. When they go through the flying finish at the other end, it's about a 600 to 700 meter to where the stop control is. And then there's another 300 meters to where the road closure finishes. So again, all of the traffic management or the rally traffic activity is happening within the boundaries of that. So then they'll depart out of that at literally 1 minute intervals. So you'll not see, unlike a traditional perhaps gravel rally where we also allow people to service on the sides of the roads with target product because of the higher density of population on tarmac roads. We have dedicated service areas, which are usually in school grounds, etc. And so that's where people service. So we don't end up having that disruption to normal traffic flow between stages.
So people who say to us, can we come and watch the stage in, will say nothing to see.
So you can get into road closure up until road closure. So from when road closure is to the first race car is about an hour. We have 10 safety vehicles going through that window, that hour-long window. 15 minutes apart, 10 minutes, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. one as the race cars are going. So all of those vehicles are doing various safety jobs to ensure that the road is actually secure. And so we ask people if they're spectating to be on site prior to road closure. So if they want to come and watch something at the end, it probably needs to be 2 kilometers in from the road closure to see traffic traveling at speed, safely. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
I just wanted to sort of let Annette know, from the tracking point of view, like it's always around Bobby cars there, and they always come in and give us all the maps free and the times. So we would organise the trucks, the odd farmer would go and pick up their calves a little bit earlier, just to clear the road, but that's generally well organised, so it's fine. You don't have to feed the cows for another day.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor Johnson.
Yeah, just, I was just wondering if you could, explain 2 things. If you could just explain how big your event is now post-COVID and, you know, the exposure that you get, internationally and nationally, is the first question. And the second one is,
Well, I'll answer that one and you answer it.
One thing you asked is how is dealing with our council good? Because you come here regularly to our council and you must go to other district councils around the country as well. And I was just wanting some feedback on how our council is. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll start with 1 and then go to 2. So number 1, the post-COVID era, we're still basically getting back on our feet from 3 years of non-activity, having to create events and then not be able to run them due to various regional lockdowns was a very expensive exercise from our organisation. And we've seen in more recent times post-COVID, cost of living crisis and all the bits and pieces that we hear in media affecting certain segments of society. The customer that plays with our event is generally a centre of influence in his business and social circles, reasonably well heeled, and at a stage in life where they have time to be able to take away from their business activities. So in saying that, we're still seeing good response for our product and the target product. In fact, we're seeing an upsize in our international market. So statistically, traditionally, 67% of our customer base comes from within the Auckland region, 13% is offshore, and the remaining 20% is from all over New Zealand, which means that 95% of the people that turn up on our event to your district are from outside your district. And that in a sense is a good thing because they're spending more money in your district than the local who's living at home. So going on to number 2, which is how does your council rate in terms of councils I deal with? I deal with 52 different councils across New Zealand. I can tell you every single one of them has a different process relating to road closure application. And so we've picked the highest points of every single one of those councils' little concerns and created our process from that. So we far exceed the minimum standards of what you expect from us in terms of communication with the district. In terms of the appetite for our event to come to your district, it's one of those regions that are very pleased to see us. And we would like to continue to build a relationship with you where we can come back more regularly on a basis that can be planned a bit better in terms of your future dates and engagement with the wider business community to actually bring activity into town. I can't give you a recent economic impact report for this region. The last one we did was with Tasman Media in the Tasman district in October 2022. And the economic impact for that event, a 2-day weekend regional event, generated $3.6 million into the economy. So it's big money in the sense of spend, and of course the large majority of that goes into your accommodation and your food providers. And by the way, that money does not include the direct spend that the competitors spend on their rally activity. This is in addition to. So my engagement with your community groups and business associates is to not provide anything special for us, just give them good service and tell them this is this is the menu, this is what it is, and people will come back. So things like the Waitomo Caves, will be touching base with them to try and get some sort of vouchers to put in the packs, because the customers won't have time to go there. But hey, it's quite a nice area. Why don't we come back and do that with the kids another day? So those are the ways that we can try and drag people back post event. Probably.
Okay, thanks, Peter. That gives us a really good heads up. Thanks for the intel. And yeah, I'm sure you'll sit through the next agenda item. Right, moving on. Any councillors need to declare a conflict of interest in today's meeting? Yes, Councillor Johnson. Mike, come on, please, Councillor.
So I would like to declare a conflict of interest because I'm part of a community group that stands to benefit from fundraising activity through marshalling the on road closures from Tagarelli.
No, but it would be useful for us to know what councillor Johnson intends to do about that potential. Like,
Sorry.
So- did you, oh, sorry, you did
David,
say.
that he said to me earlier. So
Oh, sorry.
my apologies. So Councillor Johnson's going to abstain from, sorry. My apologies. Right, moving on to confirmation of minutes of the 23rd of April council meeting. I'll move those be accepted. Seconded, Councillor Hughes. Any matters arising from those minutes? Thank you. Moving on to the receipt of minutes of the community board meeting. We've moved and seconded that those minutes be received. Move Councillor Christensen, second Councillor Dow. All in favour? Carried. Thank you.
Are there any amendments?
Sorry.
Amendments to those minutes, the community
Just
board?
receiving of the.
So I don't need to.
Yep.
So if there's an
Yeah, if
amendment,
there's
it
any
goes to-
amendments, you do it in the community board meeting.
Cool.
My verbal report. Since our last council meeting, I had to catch up with the chair of the Waikato Regional Council, Pamela Story, just to see how our working relationship goes over the next 12 months. Went to or attended the Te Hura Royal Water Scheme meeting on the 30th of April. I had a meeting at Parliament with Minister Upston, best households for jobs on the 2nd of May. We went to the Kiwi House opening on the 4th of May, which is really good. There's a number of councillors attended that along with me. Mayoral Forum on the 6th. Caught up with a brief meeting with Waka Katahi on the 10th. Caught up with the chair of the support house just to ensure things are going smoothly down there on the 13th. I went down and I had another meeting with the Minister of Social Development at Waimati of all places on the 15th of this month. Had a Best Hustles Jobs Governance Group meeting, and yesterday we also had a meeting with iwi to get their feelings on what we do going forth with the government announcement on what the future of seats, Māori wards and councils. So yeah, I'll update you later on that one, but it's good to get their feedback first before we make a stance as a council in terms of whether what we do with Māori wards going. But any questions? No, if not, I'd like to move my report be received. Second to Councillor Jeffries, all in favour? Carried, thank you. Sorry, I'll just say that again. I had my mic turned off just then. We'll move to item 133, temporary road closure application for the Target New Zealand 2024 rally. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, so we've received an application for a road closure. And the report should be written, well, taken as read. A couple of things I'd like to highlight. There's some of the closures are relatively long, with 8 hours here, 9 hours. And there's also State Highway 31 is being closed for 6 weeks while they do slip repairs. So the car fair community have had quite long closures. And I just wanted you to have an awareness before we advertise these potential closures. And then in the July meeting, you make a decision based on feedback.
Repeat that last bit of your question there, Paul, so you. Well, I
So-
know you said to be aware of it, you're
Just
asking,
so you're aware of it, we're going to advertise these closures unless you've asked the applicant to modify them. And then we put back to council in July for a decision. This road closure.
so not asking for anything from us at the moment, just that, so I'm kind of clear on this. We've got the application for the road closure, but you're going out to, sorry, I'm unclear on this, Paul.
So at the moment, through you, your worship, at this stage of the process, we're seeking your approval to advertise the proposed temporary road closures and the recommendations and seek community feedback. And then post community feedback, we will bring a report back in July that summarises that feedback. We usually either approve or not approve the closures.
So we are, this is a just need to go ahead, or is it we put the council? You're seeking my approval.
We're seeking council's approval
They've got that.
to commence a process to seek
Yeah,
community
so
feedback.
yes,
Yes.
yeah. You have the approval. So again,
Yeah, and through you, so what, the mention of Harbour Road, so the rest of it, they'll conduct the process around seeking community feedback. The mentioning of Harbour Road is because just prior to these dates, the 31 will be closed on and off for 6 weeks. And so, while you're out and about in your travels, particularly our Kawhia Tihoroa Ward councillors, you may get a bit of feedback on that. Oh no, more road closures for us. So that's why I think they were alluding.
Yeah.
okay. Councillor Jeffries.
Oh, thanks, your worship. Yes, through you, Paul. So I couldn't see anywhere in the report that that the rally was going to travel on State Highway 31. Have I missed that? So what's the significance of what you're telling us, other than the fact that we're going to have to use perhaps like a partner or someone like that as an alternative access while State Highway 31 is closed? Because I don't think they're using Oak Parker as well. I just
No,
didn't quite understand what dates, has Waka Kotahi confirmed the dates that the State Highway 31 will be closed?
Through you, Chair, provisionally, we have dates for Waka Kotahi, 7th of June. So it's nowhere near this closure time, it's just an inconvenience to that community when they've had significant inconvenience.
Okay, yep, yep. Sorry, I
The fact that the
misunderstood.
community
Yep.
consultation will probably happen at the same time as the works are happening on the state highway means that the community may feel a little a little aggrieved at this
I know, they're pretty tough out
double
there.
whammy.
Rolling with it.
Sorry, councillor Prendergast.
Through you, your worship, I just wanted to point out that on page 6 of our report 2.2, following roads are affected. I think you will have missed on the very bottom, Hockeyvale Road and Mangere Roads. Because I thought that they might not be included, but when I read the end of the report, they are actually mentioned. So and our community has been told they are.
Apologies.
That's okay. I thought you might be there.
Sure.
I had just one further question, your worship, if I may, through you, Paul. Yeah, on the same page 36, you've got the following roads are affected. And the first bullet point, talks about Ōtorohanga Road. And yet, when you go to the map, Ōtorohanga Road doesn't seem to feature on it. But if you also come down to, the third bullet point, it says that it's a road that's affected because there's no exit.
There's more than one Ōtorohanga Road.
There's more than one.
Yeah, that one, that, and the first bullet point is the one that's off Waitoma Valley Road.
Well, is that, sorry, thank you for pointing that out. So then is that a section of the road that's, when the last time we spoke, Paul, you were talking about the Ōtorohanga Road having to be graded.
Yeah, it's a spelling.
So the maps at the back are correct, they're from the application, and I'm sorry, I'm still learning road names in the district.
Oh, right, okay.
So just to be clear, the Ōtorohanga Road is right up the top of the Waitoma Hill that goes back into the back of Ōtorohanga, and the Haurua Road is the one down by the little bridge that goes around the bottom of
Yep.
back into the Waitoma Valley Road.
Yeah, no, the only reason I raised that was that the last time we spoke, you were talking about Ōtorohanga Road being remetalled and graded, or graded and remetalled. And has that work been done yet? Do you know, has that been carried out? Or is that going to be done? If that section, no, I'll go back. If any section of Ōtorohanga Road is going to be used for the rally, and it's still not clear to me if it is, will it be before or after the road has been maintained?
Through you, Mr. Chair, this rally is in the end of October. And we just
And it's
carry on.
tarmac really as well. That's the difference. So tarmac is non-tarmac.
Yeah.
Not a grip. So this, do you understand that, Councillor Jeffries?
Well, the last time that Paul and I spoke, we were talking about, remember the Nigel Scott had rung up about those potholes and the fact that that section of the road needed remetalling, regrading, all that. And you said that the maintenance is going to be carried out in the next week or two. So the question is, has the maintenance been carried out or not?
Probably a simply unrelated and another conversation, as in this is on a tarmac rally. So there's probably a conversation here with Paul about another rally. Because it is not related to this application. Councillor.
Right, because Ōtorohanga Road shouldn't be in the report. That's what you're saying.
No,
Wait.
it's a tarmac rally, so
We're offering Paul some forgiveness for road spellings in our district.
You have my
And-
word that we will make sure that the correct, the people on the correct roads are talked to in relation to this rally.
And
My word,
remembering that,
April.
yeah, these are references to roads that will be affected by closure,
Yes.
not by cars travelling on them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that was where I was getting confused because I thought it was both. Yeah, okay,
I think we've got all clear on that now.
right. Thank you for clarifying that.
Okay, thank you, councillors. So we have a staff recommendation in front of us here. That the Ōtorohanga District Council approve in accordance to section 319H and 342, section 11 of the Local Government Act 1974. They advertise to seek community feedback to the proposed temporary road closure of the following roads, and that's A through G. Do I have a movement? Second for that, please move Councillor Val. Second to Councillor Christensen, all in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. I've got there, guys. My confusion at the start, gravel and tarmac. Yep, thank you. Okay, moving on to item 134. Application of temporary road closure, Ōtorohanga Railway Station 100-year anniversary.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, yes, we've received an application for a road closure outside the railway station in Ōtorohanga. We've advertised this road closure and we have received no feedback, no objections to the road closure. So we're bringing you this report for a decision to close the road. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, councillors?
I also have a question that we just think that agenda item we just talked about. and we had to for it to go for advertising. And yet this one we didn't go for advertising. Is that just a time factor?
Yes, so we chose to come to you for the Targa rally because of the scale and the length of those closures in the community, whereas we saw this one as a relatively minor thing, so we advertised on your behalf and got the feedback and then I'm reporting that feedback, which would be the normal process, but if the road closure is a little bit controversial or sensitive, we come to you first.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. No further questions, councillors? Councillor Jeffries.
Sorry, it's not a question, Your Worship, but I just wanted to acknowledge Paul and thank him for helping out with Nigel Scott at 10 o'clock at night. And I thought that it was above and beyond the call of duty, but it was very much appreciated. And just for a quick background, Nigel rang me in a panic about 10 o'clock at night, saying that he had a cattle truck coming at 6 o'clock in the morning, and Infomax had parked their roller right in front of the cattle race, and they wouldn't be able to get their cattle out. So I put Nigel on to Paul, and Paul had his contacts and he got it all sorted. So I just wanted to say thank you for that and acknowledge him. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor. Okay, we have item 134, the temporary road closure for the Ōtorohanga Railway Station 100-year anniversary. The recommendation is that the Ōtorohanga District Council approve the temporary road closure, and that's parts A and B. I'd like to move that. Seconded, councillor Hughes. Sorry, all in favour? Against, carried. Thank you. Moving on to item 135, appointment of Ōtorohanga District alternate local controller, alternate local control. Andrew. Thanks, Peter.
Read button. Good morning, Your Worship, councillors. I'll take my report as read. I'd just like to highlight that this report sort of brings to an end the very long-winded appointment processes for new local controllers, and also to draw, as a collective, the council's attention to the extraordinary financial delegations that fall on controllers when they're charged with a incident or emergency. So that includes not just declared emergencies, but building pending incidents that would make an impact on public safety. So, questions.
Thank you, Andrew. Any questions, councillors?
I don't have a question, but I just wanted, in terms of 4.7, Your Worship, I just wanted to acknowledge and thank Andrew for his contribution and service to civil defence for the Ōtorohanga District. Many years, Andrew, you've done that. So I think it's worthy of public recognition, and say thank you for all you've done for us. Thank you. That's it.
Thanks, councillor Jeffries. Nice touch. So thank you, Andrew. We have a staff recommendation here that the Ōtorohanga District Council endorse the appointment of Tony Quick for the Civil Defence Emergency Management Alternate Local Controller for Ōtorohanga District with immediate effect. Moved, Councillor Williams, seconded Councillor Prendergast. All in favour? Against, carried. Councillor Tony. Hope nothing happens in the next couple of minutes.
Well, you've got.
Moving on to item 135, car fair and Ōtorohanga Community Board's involvement in the Ōtorohanga District Economic Wellbeing Strategy. Welcome, Nadia.
Thank you, Your Worship, councillors. So this report is seeking council's approval for the inclusion of the two community boards in the hearing, deliberation and adoption process for the economic wellbeing strategy, as you had previously approved for the long-term plan process. So you may recall at the 23rd April council meeting, I signalled that dependent on the number of submission and speakers to both the the long-term plan and the economic wellbeing strategy, that we would look to hold the hearings for each at the same time. So we have had a total of 13 long-term plan submitters wishing to speak. And the update as of today for the economic wellbeing strategy are 5 speakers. Now, 4 of those are speaking to both the long-term plan and the economic wellbeing strategy. So given that we have the boards involved in the long-term plan hearing, deliberation and adoption process, it seems like a logical step while we have them around the table to also include them in the economic wellbeing strategy hearing, deliberation and adoption process.
Thank you, Nadia. Questions, councillors? Sorry, I was watching Councillor Jeffrey's fingers, like they're going towards the speaker, but they went to his keyboard. Now, thanks, Nadia. I mean, it absolutely makes sense that they can't have people so disregard members like they have no impact. So thank you. So we have a staff recommendation that the Ōtorohanga District Council approves the Kapia and Ōtorohanga community boards involved into the hearing, deliberation and adoption process as outlined in Appendix 1 of the economic strategy. Moved and seconded by Councillor Jeffries, seconded Councillor Tamaki, all in favour? Yes, carried. Thanks, Nadia.
Thank you. Sure.
We've got the roading update next. Robbie, can you please go and get Paul back in? Unless you'd like to do it.
So councillor, item 137, voting activity update, page 60. Welcome back, Paul.
So this is the roading activity update. Through you, Chairman, and just to update you on what's happening in the roading space and what our challenges are and where things are going well. And yeah, if you've got any questions about the report, thank you. We'll take it as read.
Thanks, Paul. Taken as read. Any questions, councillors? Councillor Gowan.
Oh, not really a question, but I get really, really nervous when I see them mucking around with their rail underpasses. Because, as you might not know, it's below the legal limit for a height of a truck. So we have to build our trucks, especially slightly smaller than normal, to get under the Ōtorohanga Road bridge. And then when I see them painting yellow things and they're going to put tar seal, as long as the insurance, they're actually going to dig out, not just put tar seal on top, because then we can't fit under it. So I hope we're doing that.
So for that particular road, we've put some marks on the road, so we have leveled it. And the instruction for the contractor is to mill out 80 mils and replace 50 mils, so we'll actually lower it by 30 mils.
Oh, that'd be good.
Which gives us 30 mils to get wrong and still be right, because it's not an exact science.
Yeah,
That's a good answer, mate. Thank you.
yeah, because I don't know if you can, yeah, like some of the trucks you've actually got to let the air out of the suspension to lower the heat under it, because it's only it's actually 4.280, and you're at 4.3, so it's quite a, and they're built to, you know,
It's close.
yeah. So you'll watch some of our trucks, they just, some actually covers touch. So
The cows can't.
So if
see
you-
what's out the top anymore.
now they have covers over there, so yeah, that has got a few over the years.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, if anything, tell your contractor to go a bit heavy on the digging out, mill it a bit lower, will be good. Especially on the left-hand side, because it's, yeah, that's the higher part, yeah, those other parts, yeah. Anyway, thank you, that's a good
Okay,
answer.
so that's good. It's also the dip of the road, because your truck's quite long, so you can't just measure underneath. So we're going sort of 25 meters out. Slow.
Thanks, Paul. Councillor Hughes.
Thank you, Your Worship. Paul, I'll just, under network activities 5.8, so the Make Mahoe tie-ins were complete April. Work quality is an issue.
Can you elaborate on that a bit? What work quality is it? It's not up to standard, or what's the story with that?
They were bumping. It's a short answer, so we weren't happy with the finish, and they're reworking the finish to make it right.
Is this a common issue with as far as work quality is concerned with certain contractors, or not?
They're all capable of doing a good job, or otherwise, sending out well their watch.
Yeah, yeah, very diplomatic, Paul. Thank you.
Yeah, we can swap, we'll swap places, Paul.
I mean, I think this is probably an issue. Widespread issue through that New Zealand, we see different roads of different qualities after they've been finished, so I just, we all like to have the job done once and done right, don't we? But, those can be, depending on contractors as to how well they do it, or the types of materials they're using at the time, the costs come into it as well, I understand, but I just sort of, I'd like to see things done well, done once. Thank you.
Yeah, Councillor Johnson.
Yeah, just as a follow-up to that too, I've brought it up once before that there was a reseal to the south of the Waiheke Rugby Club, which was resealed, but there were still bumps in the road that obviously hadn't been filled in before they resealed. So it's, Holy Road's not the only place. So just I brought it to your attention before, it's one more place, so it's not only one off.
Thank you, Councillor Prendergast.
Through you, your worship, Paul, this is just an interest question. How long will the bridge road bridge likely to take to complete?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, we awarded the bridge deck panels through Max, and they are a third of the way through pouring those. So we're doing quality checks on the deck wall, because they have to put steel, it has to be in the right place, and it's quite complicated. And so we're, the first third are already poured, and we're pouring today the second third. They will be delivered on site the first week of June, and we are looking at a 2-week shut around the end of June, early July. So we hold the deck off and install the new deck.
Thank you.
Mr. Christensen.
I've just got more just out of interest, questions. What's the time frame for the speed management plan to go to Waikiki? Oh. 4.4.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. So we are rewriting the speed management plan to reflect the views of the councillors. We've had a few goes backwards and forwards about how much to cut, how much to include the commentary. So yeah, it just needs some slight improvement to go on.
Thanks. And I've just got 2 more. The culverts replacement, another just out of interest. So we're going to replace 100. We've done 52. Is that in addition to the 130 that was in our snapshot in the long-term plan? Or is that including?
Sorry, that will be the same 130 that's now turned into 100 because they cost, I suspect. I don't know. Is that the old long-term plan or the current one?
Current one, a snapshot of progress since 2021.
Oh, no, that's over and above.
Over and above?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. And do you know how many culverts we've got? It's just interesting. Yeah, I know it is, but I can't find it.
Yes, but not off the top of my head.
No, that's cool. And then. Yeah, cool. The And I mean, I know this is management, not governance, but I'd be interested to see that the footpath repairs program, like what is on the contractors list, 5.16. That's possible. Just that's, you know, just when people come up to you and say about a trip hazard or something, you can actually refer to some.
Through you, your worship, are we not doing a workshop with the community boards
that's
in the
the-
next
Yep, but
round?
Yep, but it's a different paragraph, so this one's already been sent to the contractor, urgent repairs.
Oh,
And then the next bullet point is, I wasn't gonna talk about that because it's coming to community boards.
oh,
Yeah, just out of interest, I just like to know what's
that is
happening.
operational. It's fine.
It is, but like if, yeah, every time someone says something to me about a footpath, I can put in service requests because I am putting them in weekly of different things, so, but like if there was a list that all elected members could see was coming up, like we have with roads, it would be helpful. Cool, that's me. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Councillor Jeffries.
Oh, thank you, your worship. Through you, for 4.7 and 4.8, you talk about the consultation for NZTA emergency works, investment policy and so on. So who's actually making or proposing those changes? Are they proposing those changes or are they coming from us?
Through you, Mr. Chair, so NZTA are proposing the changes.
Yep. I thought that might have been the case because they seem to be making it more difficult for us to fund some of these emergency works.
Could be a fair comment, councillor. I think they challenged themselves to
Yeah.
actually get the works they need to do as well. When they had a meeting with us a couple of weeks ago, yeah, it was fairly clear that any of the nice to haves pretty much gone out of any sort of budget anymore. And as you said, emergency repairs and that was the ratios have changed.
Yeah.
It's tough.
No, I just found it a bit interesting, given the emphasis that everyone's putting on climate change and all these sorts of things at the moment. So, yeah. And the only other one I had, Paul, was on 5.13, 5.14 was around the district-wide line marking. I don't know whether you saw anything on the television program just recently about a guy who had raised the issue of road markers painting over dirt and dead animals and all sorts of things on the road, so that when the dirt and the animals were removed, you had these great big patches of no lines. So the question is, are the road markers that we employ, are they required to ensure that road surfaces are clean and suitable before they paint them?
Through you, Mr. Chair, they will do everything within reason. I'd like to think, but they're doing a lot of road marking and yeah, mistakes.
I would imagine for cheaper roads afterwards, if there was big gaps missing because there'd been a dead cow line on the side of the road or something, bring it to their attention.
Yeah, so we do quality checks on their work. But yeah, it's a difficult time too with leaf fall, yeah, in the urban area.
Yeah. No, I just found it, that particular comment in your report was interesting, following so closely from that, what was on the television that night. It's obviously not a problem that's confined just to this district, it's a national problem.
Councillor Down.
Can I just go on just on what else what Councillor Jeffries is saying? Because look, in the roads in the Ōtorohanga district, by and large, have got marker pegs around them. We don't actually paint yellow, white ones on the edge of them. Is it like a national standard? Because I've seen those pictures on TV and I thought, why are they bothering painting white ones on a country road? That's not a very busy road, that Oyster Bay Road or whatever it was. But it just seemed to be like a waste of money even painting over the dirt. Never mind when they were painting the road. But when we seem to have a lot smaller marker pegs in our area than some country roads have no marker pegs.
To you, Mr. Chair, I could talk a lot about this, but the short answer is yes, there's standards. It's called RTS 5 and it relates traffic volumes of road markings and roadworks. And it's a really old document, probably written in the 80s, and it's still pretty much the Bible of what goes where on what traffic roads for what width.
I must say there's massive benefit when you're driving around our district and it's you get a morning like this morning in the dark or basically foggy mornings and you've got the white lines on the side of the road, market peaks. So, yeah, keep up with the work. Councillor Prendergast.
Thank you, your worship, you've just said like it is a look, the difference having a white line off the edge of the road, like, you know, years gone by, I've travelled from Ōtorohanga to Arahina at all hours of the night after placing the meeting, fog to the road, it is a huge difference to the white line. And by the end of it, you're just exhausted from concentrating. And it really is, so I appreciate the standards, but it makes a huge difference to real life.
Thank you, Councillor. No further questions. We have a staff recommendation that the Ōtorohanga District Council receive the report titled Road Activity Update, May 2024. I'd like to move that. Seconded Councillor Jeffries. All in favour? Carried. Thanks, Paul. Moving on to item 3.2. Item 138, financial report for the month ending 30th of April 2024. Thank you, Brendan.
Thank you, your worship. I'll take the majority of the report as read, just point out a couple of things. So our net surplus at the end of April is actually a surplus of 362,000 compared to a projected deficit of 463 year to date. Similar reasons for most of things being up and down, as I say every month, so I won't bore you all by saying the same things as I did last month. But happy to answer any questions, obviously. In terms of our balance sheet, we're in a good position there. Our working capital of $4.4 million. And then on the last page, the cost of service statements, so you can see there our capital expenditure. It's coming a lot closer to projected budgets, 989,000 difference there compared to actual versus budget. Obviously, when you look back at probably to the end of December or earlier, we had quite big differences there, and it's just where the projects have happened, timing and that sort of stuff, as well as how we split budgets in the first place. So yeah, happy to answer any questions.
Councillor Johnson.
Thank you, Brendan. Just on the page 70, just on the statement of comprehensive revenue expenses, just the water by volume rates. The red dot, and I see it's down. The revenue's down by 150,000. This is going on and on all our water supplies, isn't it?
Yeah.
And are we just accepting of that, or what is it?
So
It seems like just from the water meetings, we're just not getting out of these deficits with their water.
yeah, so as part of the long-term plan we just got out consulted on, part of what was done in there, the discussion we had during workshops was around moving those deficits. So we've either loan funded in the case of Ōtorohanga County assets, accounts, sorry. And then for the rural ones, we've projected to increase their charges in the next 10 years, reduce those deficits in the next 10 years. The rural committees have had their meetings. There was a report, yes, the hearings, there's a report going with the recommendations from them as to what the charges should be. And we've got a report going to community board next month for them to recommend to council what the charge. We are looking at some larger than previous increases in those charges from all of those schemes. Town, so much. to address the fact that deficits are in place. So there should be. That should represent the aspect of not constantly getting deficits, and then the next step is reduce that deficit.
But I mean, that's for the future, which is great. But I mean, just for this current snapshot here, this variance of 154,000, is that a timing of the revenue, or is that the reality of we're not charging enough for the water that goes out?
It's probably a combination of both. Part of it might be a type of revenue, obviously, particularly the rural schemes. What the weather does can affect how much we actually invoice. How wet the year versus the dry year, or consumption by the users obviously changes substantially. When we're doing the budgets, we're doing it. The budget for this year, we're now started in July last year, so we actually probably set the budgets around January that year, last year. So by the time we get through to the actual year happening, we then have maybe better information about what the weather's going to do. Maybe we go, oh, we're over budgeted. Can't do much about that, unfortunately. And then it's just the timing of the budgets as well. So we might fall money in based on previous years. But again, depending on the consumption happens, the timing of the budgets from the year can be out of whack.
Yep, got another one just on the 4.1.1.1 operating revenue, and it just says that other income is down, particularly regulatory income. Which is it? What specific area of regulatory income would that be?
Part of that is in building control, so we budgeted quite a bit for building control income from building TPs. Down on that, regulatory, I believe, is also down. That's just taking down to with the economy going the way it is. It's been down to
Councillor, thank you, Brendan. Any further questions? I love this financial reports where everything's got timings. So at the staff recommendation that Ōtorohanga District Council received a report titled Financial Report for the month ending 30th of April 2024. We have received that is Councillor Johnson, Councillor Prendergast, all in favour. It's carried. Thank you. Thanks, Brendan. Thanks, Graham. Moving on to item 139, federal funding. Sash, welcome. We changed to see you sitting upright. She has, sorry, just for explanation, she has a sore back and she does a lot of the work lying on the floor.
Put in a top though. This report will provide you with updates of the 4 projects that are funded by federal funding. As you know, we received correspondence from the DIA that recommends councils redirect unspent or uncommitted funds and put them towards local water well done. Council staff and council are scheduled to discuss this in a workshop this afternoon. Other than that, I'm happy to take any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Any questions, councillors?
I just have one. In relation to the college, they've claimed, and if we pay the installment this month that they've claimed, that's $745,000. But we've only been given 253 so far from DIA. How are we just paying it out of our funds and then getting reimbursed? And if we are, I think that's a dangerous game to play in this climate.
Through you, your worship. Yes, great question. And there is a level of risk in that. However, the DIA have been incredibly slow, not just with us, but with other councils in reimbursing for projects. So we have full confidence that that money will be coming in. And we just don't think that it's fair that the college should wear the financial burden of that.
Just to add to that, through you, Worship, we had Michael Lovett, the Deputy Chief Executive of the Department of Internal Affairs at our Chief Executive Forum on Friday. This question was asked by Lance Bavort, Chief Executive of Hamilton City Council, who are in the same situation as us. And Michael assured us that this money is safe, it's ring fenced. There's no indication that it won't be paid out. Yes, there are huge lag times, and he committed to go back to his office and have a chat with the people there and get back to Lance to pass on some information to us about how they might improve their systems around this. But I total all staff. I think, while we are carrying some risk here, I think it's probably riskier to not have a project proceed, that we've given, our kind of commitment around this, and for them to be carrying this. We met with the college, representatives of the college last week, the three of us, and I feel confident that this is a project that is being delivered, and we keep going, so.
Through you, your worship. Sash, coming in from after this has all been instigated, elections were held, I assume there's been a huge amount of community input and therefore expectation around the delivery of these four initiatives.
Yes, so the decisions of the projects were made by the community with the community focus pulling together the one initially in 2022. And then it came together to basically build on those ideas and what those projects might look like. So it was, application was made in September 2022. Thank you. And we continue to have meetings with Iwi, specifically on one of the projects, which is water, to make sure that they can input into how that should be delivered. And updates are on the website, so we now have every project updating us, and we keep it updated on the website as well. Thank you.
It's good to see that we can actually still carry on with these projects. It was a period of time there before the money was going to be redirected. And we're going to make big apologies to these community groups and school direction and sponsoring market around the place. So it's nice that the wording in there is soft and gentle enough to indicate that we can actually make decisions freely as long as that funding is targeted for a project. Councillor Jeffries.
Oh, thank you, Your Worship, through you. It's a good report, thanks. Yeah, very interesting. Just a quick question around the funding of the coastal defence structures. Of me, 4.18, we talk about the total project's been funded 730. Is that funding going to be sufficient? Do you know? It's probably an unfair question for you, but I'd be most interested to know if that 730 is going to cover the costs of what we intend to do with that seawall at the end, and if not, what's the shortfall? Are we able to find out that information?
It's way too early.
Way too early?
Yeah, sorry, councillor.
Oh, that's all right.
Your Worship, way too early.
Yeah, because I've got a feeling that 730 is not going to cut the mustard out there, but so I just raise that now. The other thing was just on 4.19 about the college, and at a recent housing meeting, Nadia, you might recall they did speak about the possibility of some alternative uses for that hostel. So I wondered whether that has been conveyed back to the people doing the feasibility study.
Through you, Your Worship, that feasibility study is done. So it was more on the on its ongoing purpose as a hostel rather than what to do with those buildings itself. So we've received that feasibility study, and there is we'll discuss it in the workshop. The update on that.
Thank you. No further questions. We have Sasha's report.
Sorry, Your Worship.
Sorry,
just one
one
further,
question.
sorry. 4.26, the Ōtorohanga Ora, 2-year contestable fund and so on. Would the Kāwhiti Kai Festival qualify funding through that
they would have to provide a breakdown of how that would benefit the community through kaupapa Māori. Food, and depending on how they would give back, would make a difference on the application.
Yeah, okay, because it sounds very much like prerequisites for funding through government agencies, so. Yeah, no, I'm grasping at straws here. We're trying to get that Kai Festival back up and running at the moment, and we're sort of looking for any opportunity for funding for it, so I just wanted to.
Happy to have that conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tamaki.
I just think to answer Kit or Councillor Jeffries that, being part of the, initial, conversation around the Ōtorohanga ora, one of the key things for, myself and Roy and Leslie and different ones around, kaupapa Māori is that, when you look, sitting on the grants and awards stuff, you see stuff coming in with mātauranga Māori, in paper form, but there's no real commitment to mātauranga Māori. And so, although those applications get over the line due to the process that they have to weave through application, and real mātauranga Māori kaupapa doesn't often fit those categories, this was one way we could see some of that happening for them. And when I hear about the Kai Festival, Kai is one of Māori, kaupapa Māori's biggest foundations. So, you know, hear the words of Sastri to come and have a kōrero, because I think if we're building potahitanga, if we're building whanaungatanga, and we're building kaupapa Māori, mātauranga Māori, the Kai Festival is probably one of those things that could fit into the category. So, yeah, just some clarity on that.
Thank you, Councillor. Yes. Okay, so I'll read out the recommendation. I already have a mover in hand, so thank you to staff for the report. And the recommendations that the Ōtorohanga District Council received the report, Better Off Fund update, May 2024. Moved Councillor Dow, seconded Councillor Prendergast, all in favour? Against, carried. Thanks. Okay, moving on to councillor updates. Councillor Williams.
Thank you, Bishop. Much the same, the Tihira Rural Water Supply meeting on 30th of April. Not representing council, but because I am with council, my civil defence training is being duly noted by Kathy. So I did a welfare course on the 2nd of May, and I'm booked in for a needs assessment course coming up as well. The Kiwi House opening, yeah, brilliant event to be with. I'm pleased that we all decided that it was worthy of attending. And the hui yesterday.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Christensen.
The Kiwi House opening, our hui yesterday on Māori representation, the wards, which was awesome. And last Monday, I organised an event at the college for, we called it speed dating. You've probably seen it in the paper actually, so I don't need to say anymore. There was 19 businesses, yeah, hundreds year 9 students. And yeah, for me, seeing those students engaged for 2 hours, actually asking questions from the start to the finish, not just sitting there going, which was really, really cool. And I think it was enjoyed by, yeah, students, businesses, and yeah, the staff thought it was fantastic. So on to my next project, the college. Watch this space.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Dow.
Oh, yeah. I haven't been up to too much. I've actually been not that well, to be fair. My heart's been out of beat. So, right, once I get there, whatever it is, yeah, it's not in the right rhythm. But I did go to the Kiwi House opening, which was really quite an occasion, well, for part of it anyway. And I've been to a couple of regional transport committee hearings, and subcommittee for that, to another long-term plan. So that's quite interesting. They took about, I think NZTA took about, or Waka Kotahi took about 500 million out of the funding allocation for those projects. So it's, you have all these ideas to do things, and obviously there's not much money, so you've got to redirect things around. So that's all right. And I went on the weekend, I watched my daughter run a half marathon, so I thought maybe a proud dad. So yeah, that's about it.
Yes, councillor. Hopefully we get that house sorted. Councillor Hughes.
Thank you, Bishop. I just, I haven't got too much either, but I'd just like to say that I really enjoyed our last meeting out at the Kahiti MRI. It's a great day and a great spot to have a meeting. Just like to thank some of the council staff and other councillors for helping me out at the time. I was on crutches and in a moon boot. It was couldn't even carry a cup of tea, so that was nice of them to help me do that. It's great. Thanks very much. And really, I managed to attend the Ōtorohanga Community Board meeting on the 6th or so. Just, hey, yeah, other than that, that's what I'm up to. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Jeffries.
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship. Yeah, we had the Anzac Day service at Kawhia. We think around 150, 200 attended that. And they also now hold a sunset service at Aotea on the same day. It starts around 5:20, 5:30, something like that. It only goes for about 15, 20 minutes as the sun goes down. But they had a field of crosses that had 70 crosses on it, which was more than what Kawhia had actually. And they invite members of the family to talk about their father or their grandfathers or whoever that might have crossed them. And it's really quite interesting way to do that. So that was a good day. And our local MP, Barbara Kurajil, was at attendance at the Kawhia ceremony. 2nd of May was the Kawhia Community Board meeting, and 4th of May is a Kiwi House opening stage 1. That was great, really interesting, and good to see Tama Potaka there and Barbara. Obviously, I wouldn't say holding hands, but they're sort of I think they're both going down the same track as far as the Kiwi House is concerned, which is really great. 10th of May, there was a regional housing meeting at the business hub, and that was pretty well attended to, with a number of organisations represented at that, and there was quite an emphasis on Māori organisations in attendance of that, which was good to see. And then 13th of May last week, I had a meeting with yourself, Your Worship, and Tania, Graham and Brendan, around the internal allocated costs, in particular those that have been directed to the 2 community boards. And we also spoke about the delegations to community boards and the levels of reporting and information being provided. So there's to be a workshop with the 2 community boards at some stage in the future to discuss those particular issues. So that was me, and I had a very pleasant weekend at Coromandel Township. I don't know whether anyone's been there recently, but the drive between Thames and Coromandel, I would recommend it to everybody. And people complain about the Kawhia road. They've got nothing to complain about if you've driven that road recently. Yeah, that was a really nice weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Johnson.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just I attended the Arahina LTP services the last meeting. I did attend that drop-in session. I also attended the Waipa Rural Water Supply meeting, which is, as mentioned before, just the continuing deficits and and charging of water always is a huge area of debate. Um, and just I haven't said much about BT for a while, but we've had a very difficult year, but we're going really well at the moment. We've got we're full occupancy. We've got waiting lists now, fully staffed. The board is looking at moving to hospital level care for some patients. At the moment, we're only rest home care, but hospital level care means that as you move on to needing more care, and you don't have to change rest homes, you can still stay near your family. So not the whole place, but there might be up to say 5 positions where we could move to hospital level care, which requires quite a bit of investment in beds and hoists, and not to mention more nurses. So nurses who can administer the appropriate drugs for that level of care. So it looked like moving from 3 registered nurses to 7 registered nurses. So that's all go. And as well as that, we've well, as part of we need to upgrade the building to put these hoists and things in, and as well as that, we'll get to alter the reception area just to bring the place into more modern, so it's a bit more welcoming, and the entranceway, exit way, and security sort of issues. So that's in the background, and you may have noticed there's a vacant section beside the motel on Ōtorohanga Street, which we own, and we've our plan is to put some sort of flat unit for a couple of nurses, so that when we hire international nurses, we can offer them accommodation as well. But it's just on hold at the moment. It's not quite our core business, and but we've got the section hopefully for that to continue at some stage in the future. But we're doing lots of strategic thinking at the moment, but it's all go, and coming out of a bad patch, but we're going really well at the moment. So I'll share that with you all. Yeah. Thank you, Councillor. It's really good. It's really good.
Thank you, Your Worship. The 30th of the 4th, we had the North King Country Development Trust meeting in Tikawiti. Just a bit of a heads up, we are trying to get funding from sponsorship from the Lions Company to do another Institute of Directors 1-day course, and this year it is looking like it will be on finance essentials. So just that Ōtorohanga has been very underrepresented in the numbers attending, and of course we favour those who actually live in the Ōtorohanga district first. However, at the end, when there's spare places, the Waikato District Council, they get lots of their people on who don't live in the area, so Ōtorohanga needs to be in there. It will be in October or early November. The date hasn't been confirmed, but that's just a heads up. Oh, actually, Tanya, a question for you. Is there a day of the week that would be best for council, if any council employees wanted to go?
We'll come back to you on that. Thank you, Councillor.
Okay, on the 3rd of the 5th, the Arahina and Ranganui water speed meetings. 4th of the 5th, the Kiwi House opening, which I really enjoyed. It was great and nice to see something completed there, and that will be open to the public hopefully from November. On the 6th of the 5th, the Waikato Prison Community Liaison Group, which the meeting at the prison, it was very good. They are progressing well in every area. I think it's fair to say, Tony, isn't it? And they didn't have any real gripes or anything. I think just a little bit of yes, with going ahead now and having more building about to happen, you know, the implications of that, but they're very, very enthusiastic about their opening at the end of this year, I think November, but they definitely discussed a lot the fact that once the building is completed and signed off, they need quite a lead in period with learning the technology and making sure they know, because it's such a big step up from what they've had, know all that they have there. On the 15th of the 5th, I presented to the Regional Council on at the Ōtorohanga District Council submission for the Regional Council's long-term plan. So there was kind of nothing much that to say about that. They quizzed us quite a bit on the transport and bus that it appears will no longer be from Tīwhiti up to Hamilton. They made the point that there will still be a bus available because the District Health Board, I'm pretty sure, fund the bus from Tamarunui up every day and back. So they were quite keen to get that point across. And yesterday the Maori Ward representation, which was really good, really interesting. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Tamaki.
So, I don't know, I've been all over the show. So, I didn't attend the Kiwi House opening because I was at a freshwater cafe, run by Niwa, for our Mangawhiro stream around the tuna and all of that kind of stuff, which was interesting. Actually, it's been a project that's been running, for the last 3 years. And so they just wanted, probably some eyes and ears from council's perspective over the quality of the water coming into the waipa. Went up to Waipawa Forest, in this kind of the same capacity around council movement and how collabs work for Ngāti Roroa or Te Roroa, which is the iwi entity up there in terms of their taiao and their resources around the kauri tree. So that was really interesting, 3-day wānanga, and hopefully moving that project into the next tranche, which is tranche 2, forming collab with our southern kauri, which is the Tauranga Hauraki Gulf into the Waitakere Ranges, and forming that corridor of hauora through our ngahere. So that's been really, really neat. Our hauora hub in Kawhia is up and running, so that's another real cool project for our outreach in terms of health in Kawhia and our rural communities. And that is frameworked out of Te Toi Ora Ki Whaingaro, so that's an organisation that do 2 outreach clinics at different marae at different times of the month. And so Kawhia has its own one, and the premises is up the end of Ōtorohanga Street. So if you're in Kawhia, come for a visit and a cup of tea. It's quite cool. I was late today because I was trying to organise things out there. They didn't know the names of the roads, and so that was all good. We've had Tainui Regionals for Kapahaka, and our representative team from Ngāti Maniapoto has been successful and made it through to Matatini. So if you're not doing anything in the next coming February 2025, come to Taranaki. There's nowhere to stay, so you might have to get a camper. Estimation of 55 teams over 3 days, so big days. What else? Went to a wānanga for the Hawaii Kieti, which is the whenua in Aotea around the taro and original stand of kumara that whakotirangi brought over on the waka. And so just looking at some restoration plans. So that was held in Kawhia at Makatu Marae, was really cool. What else? Attended a hui with Tene Hene Henui around the restructure and what it might look like for us in terms of partner orientation and how they want to create different, I think, committees within the entity itself, and so what they might look for us in terms of the JMA and stuff like that. Then had our Māori Ward hui yesterday, so that as you know, through the media and all sorts of stuff going around and things flying everywhere, it is a very interesting space to be sitting in, and don't know the outcomes, but was pleasing to hear a very similar ahua with council and with iwi, or representation of iwi, as the same for karo. So that was really nice to know that that support is there. And just a little interesting fact, at the Anzac parade, I was lucky enough to sit with our senior leaders of Ōtorohanga College and our tuia rep, which is Mystique. But they don't have, I don't know if this is a change of time, they don't have a head boy and a head girl. It's just senior leaders, so it'll be interesting to watch the space around that kind of stuff. So yeah, we had two lovely gentlemen, young boys, from very different scopes. Cool, so yeah, that's me. Kia ora.
Awesome. Thanks, councillor. No, really interesting updates. Thank you. Moving on to the resolution register.
Yep. We're recommending that all of the resolutions listed on pages 82 and 83 are removed. It's either work that is underway or completed.
Thank you. No queries or questions around that, councillors? Comfortable? So I'd like to move that those resolutions be removed. Second, councillor Hughes, all in favour? Carried, thank you. Might just adjourn the meeting for 5 minutes, bathroom stop, cup of coffee before we move it to public exclusion. Thank you. Day, if you're listening, do you want to get us back on air, please? Thank you. It's quite cool, right? So I'm just going to reconvene the meeting and move that we go into public excluded. Do I have a seconder, please? Seconder, councillor Dow, all in favour? Carried. And at this stage, I'll also say we're going off air now, so it's the end of live stream while we're in public excluded, and we won't be coming back to any open agenda items in this meeting.